What's up agents, Patrick Wolf here. Welcome to another Division 2 build video. Today's build video is going to be the legendary Negotiators build. I've been running a lot of legendary missions lately, and I've pretty much, to be honest, I wanted to make this video to discuss with you guys how I would run my Negotiators build, because I see a lot of people using it with the wrong pieces, with the wrong gear, and they're just not doing enough damage over the course of a mission. So I'm going to go through the Negotiators build, give you my variations, different types of builds you can put together. I'm just going to talk about it and just, yeah, hopefully some of you guys learn something, I hope. So let's get into the whole point of this build. So Negotiator's Dilemma is, in my opinion, should not be in PvP. This is a PvE build. I don't want to make PvP builds with Negotiators. I find it unbelievably cheesy, so I'm going to focus on PvE. So in a legendary mission, you want some damage, high amounts of damage for your team. So I found the perfect combination of talents, and with Negotiator's Dilemma, you can actually kill 3 enemies while shooting one. So it's really nice, and I think it's great for spreading damage all around, sustained DPS with a bit of weapon handling. So let's go through the specialization, because it's quite important. Now normally I say you can use whatever you want, because remember guys, don't just copy my builds, use them as templates to adjust and suit your own playstyles, to adapt to the template that I'm showing you now. Don't just copy it, because you know something might not suit your playstyle, so just change it up to suit you, because it's just the best way to play this game. I see a lot of people trying builds that I use that work well for me, but for them maybe they're more of a defensive player and they need to maybe change it up to play a bit more in the sideline or at the back of the map. It just depends how you want to play the game. So with Gunner Specialization, the reason why we're going to be choosing this is because, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you mark 3 enemies, you get 30% armor on kill by killing one. Obviously because Negotiators will kill the other 2, so it's 3 kills, 30% armor on kill just from having this procced. So if you wear the chest piece, you get an additional 2 enemies, I think it is, which is not really that much worth it, but I'm going to go through what chest piece you should be using anyway. The nice thing about this is you get weapon handling, you get more ammo for your team, increases rate of fire for 5 seconds, you get weapon handling while you're not moving, which goes perfect in unison with, well, in combination with the sawyers Kneepads, which we're going to be utilizing as well. So make sure everything like this is active. And then we're going to be having the onslaught, which is passive talent for 15% increased LMG damage. Now you don't have to use LMGs, but here's where the build gets an explanation from me, and I'm going to try and tell you what my thought process is with this build. So when I see a player running Negotiators, I think to myself, he's going to be spreading damage all over the place. He's going to be doing as much damage to as many enemies as possible in a short amount of time. Now if you're running this, you want to go full DPS. Don't half-ass it. Now I've got 1 blue. I get more damage from those Kneepads than Godroll Red Fox's Kneepads, Fox's Prayer Kneepads. So yeah, so we need to use that. Just forget about the 900k armor. It's nice that we have just under 1 million, which is surprising, but we want to be marking 3 enemies at all times, dealing upwards of 300k damage to each one, constantly firing without having to reload. Now in my opinion, if you're using a Negotiators build, you want to use the backpack, because you get more damage, 100% damage on each kill. So the higher your crit damage, the better. Now here's the thing. Okay, so before we get into this build, I want to just explain something. You don't have to use an LMG. I'm not telling you what to use, but I do so much more damage than people that use ARs, because constant sustained DPS is better than constantly reloading, because not only do the marks not last forever, but you can just keep shooting, and the numbers will stack. You guys will see, even though you're not hitting as hard per bullet, it will stack, and you will end up doing throughout the mission more damage than using any other gun in the game. That's why the Bullet King is king of Negotiators builds, if I'm honest, in PvE. But you can use whatever you want. You don't have to use that. It's completely up to you guys. You can farm it in New York, Tombs mission, things like that. So with this build, let me quickly give another summary of how crit builds work. This is a crit build. We want our crit damage as high as possible. The reason being is because when you mark enemies and you do damage to that enemy, the marked enemies only receive damage from your crits. So you want as high crit damage as possible. Normally in damage builds, you want your base damage to be high. You want your damage targets out of cover to be high, not just your crit damage, because 40% of your bullets are not going to crit. So you want to increase your base damage. You don't want to go too high. But like I said, on this build we actually do, because it's obviously, it revolves around critting, so that it sends the crit damage to the various other targets that we will be marking. So once you've gone over the weapons, make sure to utilize this Bullet King. It's beautiful. It's got DTC. Yeah, DTC crit damage as well, which is very nice. You don't have to ever stop firing. It is the perfect gun to utilize with this build. Now, you don't have to use it, like I said. Use whatever you want. It's completely up to you guys. AK-47 would be great as well. Whatever that has a bigger magazine. So, I've gone for the chest bag, gloves, and holster. Let's go over the Negotiators pieces first. Then we're going to go over the talents. Now, this is the perfect build for team-based play for difficult content. If you want to play with this in heroic missions or solo, you don't have to stay in cover, because this revolves around staying in cover, because that's what you'll be doing in legendary missions, but you don't have to. And I will show you another variation of this build once we get to the chest piece and once we've just finished going through the pieces. So we want to get our crit chance as high as possible. Why? Because the whole build revolves around critting. So we get for the 2-piece 15% crit chance, for the 3-piece 20% crit damage. Critical hits mark an enemy up to 3 marks for 20 seconds. Whenever you critically hit a marked enemy, all other marked enemies take 60%. This is now 100% because of the backpack. Whenever a marked enemy dies, grants plus 2% crit hit damage, stacking up to 20 times, or until combat ends. So make sure you guys roll crit chance, and all your mods go crit damage or crit chance. Don't overdo your crit chance, but do not underdo it. People think having 58, 59% crit chance is okay. It's not. There's something weird in this game, the way it works. Just make sure you try get your crit chance to 60%. If your watch level is high enough, it shouldn't be too difficult, guys. So that's going to be the mask, roll crit chance. The gloves, we're going to roll weapon damage, crit chance again. Holster, same thing. Make sure you guys crit chance is 60%. Just go look at your stats and make sure. The bag, now I definitely recommend using the bag, because we get our each individual damage. It's more than, it's 40%, guys. Each enemy, you cannot pass this up. The bag is the best part of this build. It's now 100%. If I crit 300k on an NPC, 300k goes to all the NPCs I've marked. So I haven't gone for the chest piece because I feel like we can get more utility for myself and the team utilizing other pieces. So the chest piece is going to be Petra of Defense to get our LMG damage up, which is nice. You don't have to use this if you've got a god roll Grupo Sombra. It's completely up to you guys, but I wanted to get my base weapon damage up. But a Grupo chest would be great if you've got one. That's perfect. I don't, but don't waste that red mod slot. It's completely up to you. Now this is what I'm going to tell you guys right now. I'm not going to tell you that you need to use Grupo, you need to use this. What you need to do is gauge on what kind of pieces you have. If you have a Grupo chest piece, put it on. Who knows, because your rolls might be better, you might end up doing more damage. So just test for yourselves, guys. That is the best way to find things out in this game, because it is very complicated. The maths is not, don't listen to maths, it doesn't work in this game. It's all about testing, because the game doesn't half work anyway. So trust me. So the chest piece talent, look at this mod, by the way. I'm going to make you guys jealous, sorry. 12% crit damage. Now this talent I've gone for, you've seen it from my other builds, it's just too good. I would swap this talent out for obliterate. Okay, so Overwatch is perfect for team play, because we give our whole team and yourself included 12% skill and weapon damage. I would not pass this out for anything else. Glass cannon is not a good idea. You just die too quick. I wouldn't recommend it. You have to stay in cover, but you can do cover to cover moves, and you can actually move along the cover. You don't have to stand still. So I would use obliterate, which revolves around critting. Now you crit and you get 15% weapon damage when you get the stacks up, which is easy to get the stacks up. So obliterate on the chest if you want to play normal missions or just by yourself. I wouldn't use this by yourself, rather use obliterate, because it'll always be up and you'll always have that 15% weapon damage. Spotter works well also, but we don't have a linked laser pointer. Spotter, the talent is multiplicative on headshots, so which we're not stacking on headshots. So if you want to use an assault rifle, Spotter could be good. Remember, it's multiplicative damage on headshots, not body shots. So, but then you would have to run a pulse with this build, so it just doesn't make sense, and we cannot pass up giving our whole team 12% skill damage and weapon damage, because normally someone in your team uses skills for damage. So, like I said, obliterate or spotter for the chest. It's completely up to you guys. So, the knee pads. Now, this is quite interesting. So let's go to the firing range now, so I can showcase to you guys the knee pads. So the knee pads, the decision that I've made for the knee pads is because of the crit and the damage. So what I'm going to do is, the whole premise of this build is to get your crit damage as high as possible. Remember what I said, you actually get armor on kill also, which is very nice. Now I guess you could stack more armor on kill, but I have made builds similar to that before. So with the knee pads, we are critting 248k, which will spread to the other enemies. So 248k, almost Godwell Fox's prayers. So remember guys, 248k, 237k, so it's significantly less. But here's something that you need to pay attention to. So if we look here, what are we hitting as base values? 113. So we are hitting 113k with the base values. This is what I was talking about earlier. We put on the Sawyers Kneepads again. This is just for you guys, just to showcase something. If you're using a build that doesn't revolve around Negotiators, just to give you guys an idea. So it's 113k when we're not critting. With this, it's 126. So even body shots that aren't crits are going to give us more damage than Fox's Prayer. So it's something just to note. Now, Grupo Sombra is interesting as well. So with the Sawyers Kneepads, we're getting 248, 126. With Fox's Prayer, we're getting 113 and 237. So Fox's Prayer, 113, 237. Okay. So it's 237 as well, except it's 237,561, and the Fox's Prayer is 237,909. So you're probably wondering, well, the base values will probably be more for the Fox's Prayer. Let's have a look. So just to make sure, we have got Grupo Sombra on. They are pretty god rolled as well. So let's look at the base values. So just to clarify, the base values for that was 113. Let's have a look and see what this is. That's 106, boys. See that? 106. So that's less. So the base damage is less than Fox's Prayer. That's because of the damage targets out of cover. Let's just clarify that. 106k blue value. Let's put back on the Fox's Prayer. So it was 106, 113. There we go. Proved it. So that goes to show that the crits are almost identical, but the base values, which will be non-crits, would be better with the Fox's Prayer. That's why it's so important to use Fox's Prayer when you're just making a normal build that doesn't revolve around crits to spread like on Negotiators. So I just wanted to showcase that. So if you guys were confused, because for some reason I've been getting a lot of questions lately about it, and that's why damage targets out of cover is best in slot for the Kneepads. It's not because of the crits. It's because 40% of your mag is not critting, so that's why you can get more damage from that, and it also amplifies depending on what talents you're using as well. So now that we've got that out the way, you see why I'm using the Kneepads. It's more damage and we are tankier. It's just a must use. Now as you can see, the damage is still up. You can move, but once the bar drops away, you have to stand still again, so it can be annoying. What would I use if I wasn't using this? The answer is either Grupo or Fox's Prayer. It doesn't matter because it's still the same crit damage values. So Fox's Prayer would probably be the best option. Let's go through the crit. Sorry, not the crit. I don't know what I'm saying. My crit damage is 97, 60% crit chance. It could be better, but like I said, it's all about the Bullet King spreading the damage. Now, you can scroll through it. You can go through all the details. It's not really that important, to be honest. Then let's go over the skills. The skills I'm not going to focus too much. Reviver, Hive, and Decoy. Mod with your best mods, duration, health, things like that. It's completely up to you what skills you use. The Booster Hive is great for cleansing status effects, but in difficult content, well, the Booster Hive as well for weapon handling, increases your weapon handling, which makes the reticle smaller and easier to fire. But yeah, like I said, use whatever you want. Use it as a template to adjust it and adapt it to your own playstyle. And with that being said, please make sure to leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll be seeing everybody in the next video. Peace out, agents.